Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Gentlewoman with Grace Hayden. Sorry, I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb because you people be disturbing me while I'm recording my podcast, and it's just not fair. No, I'm kidding. But hello, welcome back. I know I took a week off last week, and I'm really sorry for that. Pretty ironic after my episode on consistency. What else is ironic is that I basically broke, sorry Asher, I have to tell you this, but I broke your adapter, your microphone adapter thing, and I don't have a USB cord on this computer or port because it was the computers that they decided to take that away from, which sucked. But basically I think I just maybe pulled it too hard, and now it won't convert, it won't take the converter anymore. So now I also don't have a microphone this episode, which really is annoying to me because I really don't like to put out episodes without the microphone. But you live and you learn. You got to do what you can do out here. Basically today I want to talk to you guys about my pet peeves. This is an excuse to complain for about 30 minutes. I'm just not having a good day, and I'm not in the right headspace, and I feel like getting my podcast out and being productive and creative will at least put me at a place where I feel like I got something done. I have so much to get done, so much to do this week. It's actually eating me alive. But my brain is you can't do it. So I'm really struggling. And this will lead us into my first pet peeve, which is Sundays. I actually hate Sundays. I think they're the worst day. I think they're equivalent to the month of November. But no. Thursdays are November. August is Sunday for me because it's just the waiting period before school. And that is how every single Sunday feels to me. I did go grocery shopping, and I felt really productive because I made myself a little jar salad. That was really good, and I got a bunch of stuff. But then, you have to do your schoolwork. You have a whole day, your schoolwork sitting there. What else are you going to do? Do your schoolwork, because you have to wake up at 9 a.m. tomorrow or earlier to get to work at 9 a.m. What is this day of just existential dread? I hate it. It's actually why I made my podcast day Sundays, because I was maybe finally you'll have something to look forward to, because at the same time nobody ever wants to hang out on Sundays. When people do hang out on Sundays, I get exhausted so much quicker because it's the impending doom of school the next day, so you can never drink. Or if you do drink, it has to be in the morning. And then if you do drink in the morning, you're tired at night. You're tired the rest of the half of the day, so you can't get work done. And now you're procrastinating, and now you're anxious. It's what are we doing? I would like it to be a day of rest, but it is never that for me. And also resting makes me anxious. So Sunday being associated with rest doesn't really add up for me. And there's always weird things scheduled for me, at least on Sundays. I have to go to something at 5 o'clock every Sunday for a club I'm in, and that's so horrible because it's just in the middle of my Sunday. Give me that time back, because it's a whole ordeal, getting there and then coming back and then actually doing the meeting for an hour. It's stupid. So excuse my yawn. I'm just laying in bed this podcast. But, Sundays, yeah, I hate them. Okay, moving on. My next pet peeve is when people chew with their mouths open. And I feel like a lot of my friends would have guessed this would be my first one because of how evil I am to someone when they do chew with their mouth open and how quickly I call it out. But, it's up there. It's my second one on the list. Not that I did it in any real order. Just whenever I think of the word pet peeve, my brain immediately goes to when people chew with their mouth open. because I think it is the world's grossest thing you can do while eating. It makes me lose my appetite completely. It makes me like so like viscerally angry, and I never felt this way until somebody else brought it up to me that like their mom was doing it. And they were like, "Can you like handle that she's doing that?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they were like, "The fact that she's like chewing like that with her mouth open." And then like you hear it. And like the second you hear it, like there's no going back. But the reason I think I never noticed it is because my father does it so heavily. And so once I figured out that I did not like when people were doing that, and I immediately like did my best to stop it, because the person too was like, "Oh yeah, and you do it sometimes." And I was like, what? My dad, I'm actually not kidding, is like when he eats. And that is not an exaggeration. And it is so awful. Like, it is so mind-boggling. And he also gets mad when you tell him, like, shut up, and he won't stop doing it. And so then I can't even eat around him. Like, I struggle to, like, get food down because I'm so pissed that he's doing that. And I know there's, like, a disease. I think this is, like, such a guess, but I think the pronunciation is misophonia, and I don't think there's any medication that can fix it. So, like, I think all of us baddies who, like, really get, like, viscerally angry just have to basically suck it up. But it's really horrible, and it's really not fair, and it's such a quick fix that I'm like, why are you as a person, especially when it's like not a cultural thing, like if it's a cultural thing, I totally like get it, and I'll do my best to like not say anything. Well, I'm obviously never gonna say anything like to someone I don't know. But yeah, it's such a quick fix that I'm like, now why do you have to like torture me with that? Especially the people who know that it pisses me off and then still do it. Because if someone ever said to me, like, that really makes me upset, I'd stop it immediately. So I just like don't really understand why it takes people so long, but whatever. Okay. Third pet peeve of the day is like when people are not like with it enough. And this has also been something I've said my whole life. But like with it in the sense of like observant, like with it, like, you know, like on top of it, like kind of like inferring. Like I need people around me to be able to be like quick thinkers and like critical thinkers and quick on their feet and like see what's going on around them and be able to like analyze a situation and like figure things out. This one is kind of abstract because I don't really have like, I'm trying to think of an exact situation, but like in a friend group, like if somebody, this is something, like if somebody like weird or like creepy is like approaching us, and you know, your main thing is that you should not engage with someone who you like don't know, who's a stranger, especially if they're giving you weird vibes, and like someone who is not with it would engage with that person. And like that pisses me off beyond belief, because I'm like, if you cannot read the room enough and know that like you should not be speaking to that person, like I'm gonna get mad at you. So I'm gonna like take it out on you and be like, what the hell are you doing? Like what? Like don't talk to someone we don't know, especially if they're like a man or creepy and you're in a group of girls. Like you never need to engage with someone. And like that's a matter of like critically assessing a situation and being like, oh, like do I invite this like strange presence in or no? And like the people who invite the strange presence in, I'm like, oh my God. Like it is better to just no eye contact, keep moving forward, than allow like crazy weird energy in. And like I just like cannot stand when people allow that in, or just, it's really like people not being able to read a room. But I like the term like with it. Like I need you to be like alert, I need you to be observing, I need you to be with it. Like if you're gonna be around me, you need to be like with the shits. I don't know how else to explain it. I just love that this is an episode of me complaining. But like, Emma Chamberlain does it, so it's fine. And I really enjoy her pet peeve episodes because then I'm like, same. Or like, oh, really, girl? So let me know which ones you relate to. If you do relate to any of them, or if you just think I'm a bitch after this episode, that's totally fine too. It's my podcast, so I'm gonna be a bitch if I want to be a bitch. Moving on. I don't know why I had to sing that. Okay. My next pet peeve. Sorry for the video listeners, me just like digging in my eye. My next pet peeve, this is a two-parter, so get ready for this, and it involves cars. And anyone that knows me knows that I hate cars to begin with because I get super car sick. But car sickness isn't my pet peeve. What is the shit that causes my car sickness that is very, very, very avoidable. That like, if people just took the precautions, people would get less car sick. So the first part of this situation is when a car is like hot and it just simply doesn't need to be, like when the heat is on and the sun is also blaring in the car and you have a triple layer coat on, like we need to be blasting the AC. We need to be cooling us down. I don't care how cold it is outside. If I'm getting in your car and the sun's beaming in and you have the heat blasting and I'm in my 3 layers, I'm gonna throw up. Like, I will throw up. I'm gonna get queasy. Like, the car needs to be cool. It doesn't need to be like freezing, but it needs to have like cooler air blowing, because the hot air is so like irritating to me. It makes me like itchy and infuriated and annoyed, and then I'm just like upset in the car. And then you start driving, right? And here we get to the second part of my car pet peeves. Brake, 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 brake. Every 5 seconds, they're braking. This is in relation to how much I Uber, because I literally Uber everywhere because I don't have a car. Backtracking though. Like, there is just no need to step on the brakes so intensely that my body like flings forward every time. And I've had drives where, I'm not kidding, every 10 seconds I am being like lifted off the back of my seat and flung forward and then put back down and smacking my head. And it happens again and it happens again because this man can't figure out what a gradual brake is. So now I'm sweating my ass off. I'm about to cry. I'm hot. I'm being thrown around like a rag doll. And I'm expected not to throw up. Like, I just don't really understand that. So that is my pet peeve. I guess about Ubers, not really about cars. Because when I drive, I don't feel any of these things. I also probably am not the best braker. But, like, I think I'm better than an actual, like, halt every time somebody else puts on their brakes. But who knows? We'll have to assess whoever drives with me next, and we'll have to see what they have to say. Okay. It's also raining outside, and I feel like every single Sunday here it rains. This is back to my first point. Like, what are you supposed to do on a rainy day? Okay, pet peeve, rainy day. I hate the rain. I don't understand how people like it. There's nothing calming about it to me. It makes me unable to go outside. And then I'm stuck in my house that I already am sad that I'm in. Like, oh my God. And every single Sunday, for some reason, it's always either gloomy or raining here. It's like I can't win. And it's pouring down. It just started pouring. I sound like such a brat. Awkward pause. I promise I'm not a brat. I just like the way that needed to be said. Okay, you can think I'm a brat. Like, it's fine. I'm just saying my pet peeves because I needed a real topic for this podcast. And I don't want everything to have to be so deep. And I also didn't want to just like ramble again like I did last week. So this is just me figuring out my podcast, y'all. I want to have more guests on too. But I just had to be more like coordinating and planning. And if you do want to be on, please text me. If you get to this part of the episode, like, please text me. We will find a Sunday that works for both of us. And boom, we will make it happen. Okay, back to the point. Another pet peeve of mine is when you spend forever applying for an internship, you're tailoring your resume to the internship, you're tailoring cover letter to what they need in a person, the skills they require, blah, 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 blah. You get an email from the company and you're like, oh, it's either going to say congratulations or it's going to say like denied. And instead it says, great, like we'd like you to complete this project and get it back to us by blah, blah, blah time. And I'm like, now hold up. You can interview me. Interviewing me is not a pet peeve of mine. I think once I can open my mouth with people, that is a much better reflection than like what I can write. But to like make me like go the extra like assignment route, like especially right now after Thanksgiving, like I have a internship assignment weighing on my shoulders that I like don't know any of the answers to, and I'm like, why can't you just like ask me to come in an interview? This is not the first time this has happened to me, because what I'm gonna do is pour everything I have into this internship assignment for however many hours to possibly not get it, and I'm gonna manifest that I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna pour all these hours in and I'm going to get it. But like, why can't we just call for an hour and then you can assess the same questions through a phone call? Like, I'm just like, why do we need me to be doing like actual homework to get an internship? But I guess that's just a reflection of like, maybe I don't want to work at this company anyways. But I just think anytime, like, it's really unfair to ask someone, especially a busy person like myself, to do all this extra work just to like maybe not get it. Because like that happened to me in the summer, and I like bent over backwards trying to get this thing done perfectly for them, and within like 10 minutes of sending my project, they told me that they went forward with another candidate. And I was like, oh, so after the like 3 days I just put into my project, it took you 10 minutes to deny me? Like, what? So that's just really crazy to me. Like, let's just get on the phone and have a conversation, then you can decide if you like me or not. Because that just seems easier to me. But moving on. Another pet peeve of mine is the fact that like I have to blow dry my hair every time I shower, because if not, like afterwards obviously, because if not, my regular air dried hair, and it's probably from the bleach because it used to like not be like horrible, but it actually becomes so frizzy and like tangled and just puffy and ugly. So I cannot wear it anywhere unless I was gonna like wear it up every single day. But even so, the front pieces still look weird when they're not blow dried. So I simply have to blow dry my hair every single time I get out of the shower, which is so much heat damage, and it makes me want to not shower because there's no like going to bed on wet hair and waking up like beautiful. Like that's never been the case for me. But especially recently, like I cannot just let my hair air dry. It looks so bad. Like maybe the first day it'll look okay because I can kind of make it look a little curly. But the second day after I sleep on it, oh my God, it is like a rat's nest. And I just haven't figured out a way to like make it last at all. So I'm just constantly heat damaging my hair. And that is not fun at all. Because I already bleached my hair and I've been bleaching it myself for like 6 months. And like that's probably the answer to why my hair cannot be like not blow dried. And like blow dried it looks fine, so I'm also really used to it looking like this and like all straightened. So when it doesn't, I'm like, ew, you look horrible, which also is not a good mindset like to be in at all. If you can't tell, I'm not in the best mindset. That's why I'm sitting here freaking complaining. But I just like want to know if anyone else relates to that, because I feel like a lot of people are able to get out of the shower and just let their hair air dry and it look completely fine. And I just do not understand that phenomenon. Like that is not what happens to me. No matter how much I like brush it and try to weigh it down to keep it straight. No. Like no. it does not work. And a side note to that is I hate how greasy my hair gets, because it gets greasy after like one day. And that also doesn't seem fair, because I know bitches that can go like a week without washing their hair. Like, not a week without showering, but a week like keeping their hair out of the water and not shampooing it and stuff. And I'm just like, how do you do that? I also hate, this is all hair related, but it's so hard to work out for me when I know that I will need to shower and then blow dry my hair, because that's like an hour long, maybe 45-minute long process. So I'm like, if I'm already working out and I'm already then needing 45 minutes afterwards, that's like a 2-hour ordeal. And like, sometimes I don't have 2 hours to fit into my day. So sometimes I just can't work out because I know what is required afterwards of me. And like, that's a whole pet peeve in itself, because it hinders like me working out sometimes. Like, that is not right. And I think what my last pet peeve will be, because that's all I wrote down, is that I literally cannot stand when people are in the grocery store, specifically Trader Joe's, and take up like the whole aisle with their cart or with their just like presence, to the point where you like cannot get by them. And I hate opening my mouth at the grocery store. Like, I have my headphones in, I'm listening to a podcast, I'm trying to get my food and get out of there. And when I have to be like, excuse me, like, can you like move your cart or something, I like, my blood boils. Like, I am like so angry when I have to do that. Also, a pet peeve is when people say like a lot, and guess who's been doing that the entire episode? You, bitch. So shut up. But when people start saying like in their presentations over and over and over again, I like am the bitch that I just said I like. I am the bitch that will tally your likes in my head. And that is really evil, and something I never thought I'd admit on the internet. But it really makes me upset when people do that. But backtracking. Like, oh my God. I did not just do that. Get your grocery cart out of the aisle. Keep it near you. And that's that. It's just not that hard to keep it near you and by you. Not like the cart's a giant. You don't have to take up the whole space to the point where someone else cannot get by. Like, it is just so infuriating. But that is all I have on my complaining ass episode of pet peeves. Please let me know which ones you guys agree with or disagree with, or how to help calm me in any of these things. Because it does not take a lot to piss me off usually, but these things, like here we go. Now I'm gonna be so self-conscious of it on the pod. These things I listed set me off in about 0.5 seconds. So really just really just try to help me out as much as you can here. I'm sorry. The word like is not leaving my vocabulary, but just know if you're saying it, ooh, I'm pissed. This is Ashington, my bear. He's looking forward to all of you guys commenting and sharing your thoughts and opinions on what I had to share with you today. But thank you so much for listening. I love you all. Again, please text me if you want to be on the podcast. I would love to have you on. And have a slay rest of your Sunday. Evil Sunday. Bye, everyone.